Ever thought about how you could do less work but get more done? Well, today we're going to dig into a secret that's literally thousands of years old. It's this incredible principle of physics that, believe it or not, connects something as massive as a skyscraper to just, opening a bottle of soda.
So let's kick things off with a huge, and I mean huge problem. Just picture it. The pyramids, Stonehenge. How in the world did ancient people, with zero modern engines, lift stones that weighed tons? We're talking as much as a herd of elephants. Well, the answer is kind of mind-blowing in its simplicity.
You see, our ancestors ran into a pretty basic roadblock. Your muscles can only do so much, right? But human ambition, that doesn't have a limit. People wanted to build bigger, better, grander things. So they had to find a way to basically multiply their own strength.
And they did. They found that power in a handful of totally ingenious inventions we call simple machines. I mean, these are the tools that literally built our civilization, all designed for one thing: to make hard work feel way, way easier.
Okay, now here's a super important point. You gotta get this. Simple machines don't actually let you cheat physics. They don't reduce the total amount of work you have to do. That number is fixed. What they do, and this is the genius part, is they reduce the effort. That's the force you have to put in. Less effort, that's the key.
So what's the secret sauce? It's all about a trade-off, a brilliant one. Simple machines lets you trade a really short, almost impossible lift for, say, a much longer but way easier push. You're basically spreading that same amount of work out over a greater distance, which makes the impossible, well, possible. All right, let's see how this actually works in the real world. We're going to look at three of the big ones, the simple machines that completely changed the game for humanity.
First up, the lever. It's so simple. All you need is a bar and a pivot point, which we call a fulcrum. You push down on one end, and bam, you create this huge lifting force on the other. You can move something super heavy with just a little bit of your own effort. And ancient builders totally got this. They didn't need a physics textbook. They just grab a big log, stick it under a giant boulder, and use their own body weight to move these massive stones into place. That's how they built temples, monuments, you name it.
And get this, that same ancient idea is something you probably use all the time. Think about a bottle opener. It's just a tiny little lever. The edge of the bottle is the fulcrum, and that little bit of force from your hand gets multiplied enough to pop the cap right off. Same exact principle.
And this wasn't just happening in one part of the world. This was universal. For example, Aboriginal peoples in Australia created the woomera. It's this incredible hunting tool that basically works like a lever for your arm, letting you throw a spear with way more speed and power. Just amazing ingenuity.
Okay, next up is the pulley. Super simple. It's a wheel and a rope. The cool thing is, it lets you change the direction of your force. I mean, it's way easier to pull down on something than to lift it up, right? And when you start adding more pulleys to the system, whoa, the effort you need just plummets. Just try to picture this. Ancient sailors on one of those huge wooden ships. They had to haul up these enormous, heavy sails, fighting the wind the whole time. A few people could never do that on their own. But with a clever system of pulleys, they could harness the wind. And fast forward to today, that exact same idea is what allows a giant construction crane to work. It's just a bunch of pulleys hooked up to a motor, multiplying a small force into enough power to lift steel beams that weigh thousands and thousands of kilos.
And finally, let's talk about the inclined plane. This might be the simplest simple machine of them all. Really, it's just a ramp. I mean, think about it. Pushing something up a long, gentle slope is so much easier than trying to lift it straight up. You're just trading a little extra distance for a lot less huffing and puffing.
Okay, so now that you know about the lever, the pulley, and the inclined plane, I promise you are going to start seeing these things everywhere. They're all around us, usually hiding in plain sight.
All right, let's play a game. Take a look at a bottle cap. You see a little piece of metal, right? But what you're actually looking at is a hidden piece of ancient tech.
It's a screw, and a screw is just, get this, an inclined plane wrapped around a cylinder. Yep, those little threads take a tiny twist from your wrist and turn it into a super strong downward force that keeps your drink from spilling.
How about a pair of scissors? We use them all the time and don't even think about it. But look closer. It's just two levers joined together right in the middle at the fulcrum. That little squeeze you give with your fingers gets multiplied into a really powerful cutting force at the tip. So simple, so smart.
And let's do one more. The kitchen knife. Seems pretty basic, right?
Well, a knife is actually a wedge. And what's a wedge? It's just two inclined planes, stuck together back to back. All that science is just to turn your simple downward push into a strong sideways force that splits your food. Genius.
So, okay, we've gone from ancient Egypt to your kitchen drawer. What does all this actually mean? What's the big idea here?
Here it is. The most important thing to remember is that these ancient, incredibly clever ideas, they never disappeared. They didn't get replaced by fancy technology. Nope. They just became the hidden building blocks inside almost every complex machine we use today. They're the foundation of everything.
And that, to me, is a really powerful thought. It means the next world-changing invention might not be some super complicated piece of tech. It could just be a new, clever way to use one of these simple, ancient ideas. So, it makes you wonder, right? What simple machine will you build next?